power fantasy manhwas are dumb. But I can't stop reading them. So in this video I'm gonna tell you why they're dumb and why I still read them, and also talk about some of my own favorite power fantasies and rank them. I have to admit, I fully understand this man because I'm literally him.
Goku's dick.
Not because we're both Asians, but because we have the same trashy taste in anime. Okay, maybe not the exact same taste in anime, because I don't like incest or gacha, but I do like power fantasies, and gods can't have enough of trash isekai anime, and as we all know, they're literally the same. Both of them are oversaturated like crazy, and 90% of the time the main character either looks like Kirito-kun or Jinwoo. But first of all, what the f*** is a power fantasy manhwa? You already know this genre. They're the top of stories where the main character is overpowered AF and he can beat anyone's ass so that people like me with a rotten monkey brain can go. There are also some other common power fantasy elements that I'm going to talk about during this video. But to answer why I still read them, well, there are many reasons, but first let's look at one of the most popular power fantasy manhwas ever. Solo Leveling! B tier. Okay, listen, I think B is absolutely reasonable for solo leveling. Wait, why did I sound British for a second? On paper, solo leveling is one of the most generic power fantasies that fortunately got an anime. Also, I wasn't a big fan of its ending, but solo leveling has a godlike art style and tons of amazing moments. I can't be the only one who nodded in their pants when Jinwoo said "arise" for the first time. And yes, for some reason, something as simple as this is enough to fire up my noodle brain with adrenaline and testosterone. I am a man now. You might not know me, but I freaking love edgy characters like Jinwoo. Black clothes, black hair, hunter eyes, K-pop idol hair, purple aura. What else do you want from a cool, edgy character? Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the edgy one. Nah, I edge. Also, solo leveling straight up had a Chimera Ant arc which came out of nowhere. Maybe its author is a fan of Hunter x Hunter, which is base. And also, you might not remember it, but solo leveling also had a tower arc. So overall, B tier. So reason number one is just to shut down my brain and enjoy watching edgy characters in cool scenes. Next, I want to talk about one of my own favorite power fantasy manhwas that I read recently. SSS Class Suicide SSS Class Revival Hunter. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be honest now, I did not expect this manhwa to go this hard. I wanna marry Raviel.
I like muscular men.
When I started reading this, I thought this was going to be another stereotype bare bones generic power fantasy. Because god damn it, there's a tower in this story. But SSS Class Revival Hunter is in fact A tier. The last two arcs of the manhwa had some banger moments with some beautifully written characters. Like seriously, the writing for these last two arcs were absolutely amazing. The Murimak was so freaking poetic and legendary, it stuck with me to this day. And right after that, we got the romance arc. I'm not a big romance guy, but holy shit, isn't it one of the best romance I've read. This manhwa is goated. And I love it. So the reason number two is when a manhwa surprises me with whatever it has to offer, especially when I don't expect them to be good.
Here's another one.
Okay, let's actually talk about my top favorite manhwa of all time. Romance Camping. Wait. Oh, no. Wrong script. You might know it by now, but I wanna talk about my sweet omniscient reader's viewpoint. S tier! It's debatable if this manhwa is considered as a power fantasy. Well, I think it definitely has the elements of a power fantasy genre. The guy having a knowledge of the future, another guy who is a regressor, which means he can go back in time to fix the future, and on top of all of that, a freaking tower. These manhwas should be called tower fantasies, am I right? But the story is not only about this tower. It will go away in the next scenarios. So I think it can be a power fantasy manhwa, but because I talked more about this manhwa in the previous video, I'ma cut it short for this one. Omniscient Reader Viewpoint, in my opinion, is the closest thing we can get to an actual peak fiction. I freaking love it, and it is factually the pinnacle of power fantasy manhwas. If you haven't read this manhwa, you are cringe. Go read it after watching this video. Personally, the creativity of its story is something I've never seen before. It's so good. But hey, some news say that they're working on its anime. I can't wait to see ORV getting an amazing anime adaptation so that more people can enjoy this masterpiece of a fiction. So the reason number 3 is to read actual peak fictions like Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Here's one interesting manhwa I found. Its name is Swordmaster's Youngest Son, and the interesting part about this manhwa is its world design and its characters. So basically there's this epic swordsman family called Rune Candle, if I'm saying it right. And let me tell you, this is a big family. The MC, which is the youngest son, is destined to be the leader of this family when he grows up. And why is he destined to be that? Because he chose the founder's sword when he was an infant, which is in my opinion a very stupid way to determine a family or a clan's leader. Because look at this sword. It's the shiniest sword in the field. Of course the kids are going to pick this. But anyways, he in fact does not become the family's head. Instead, they kick him out of the family because he is actually really weak. Then he finds out that he was cursed to be extremely weak ever since he was born, then uncurses himself, but then he dies. Then he regresses to when he was choosing that founder's sword when he was a baby. So yeah, we have all the power fantasy elements here. Edgy character who was weak but then gets OP and being a regressor. Oh, how I'd be surprised to see a giant tower in this manhwa, because I haven't finished this one yet. But this one was interesting. I enjoy reading it because the world design and the characters are really promising. B tier. There's also another manhwa that is just like the one I talked about, and its name is Revenge of the Iron-Blooded Sword Hound. Yeah, the premise is basically the same, so I'm not going to bother telling you the same story again, but this one also has an R side. Haven't read all of it yet, so undecided. So another reason why I read power fantasies is because I hate myself. No, I'm kidding, I don't really hate myself, but what I mean is it's really easy to see yourself in the shoes of those main characters. A loser guy suddenly becomes a Sigma. Now for the last reason why I enjoy reading power fantasies, I have to talk about 2 more manhwas first. The first manhwa is this manhwa about Jinwoo's cousin. Like, look at this guy. You can't tell me he doesn't look like Jinwoo. And the best part is, this manhwa is called Solo Max Level Newbie. Pretty much what you expect from a generic power fantasy manhwa. A tower appears out of nowhere, and that tower was actually in a video game, and the MC was the best player of that game. Our side is really good. C tier. I talked about Jinwoo's cousin, now let's talk about Yoo Jung-hyuk from Wish.com. I mean, he's more like a reverse Yoo Jung-hyuk, and what I mean is, if you know Jung-hyuk from Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, you know that he's a regressor. Now this guy is the opposite of that. There's an item in this manhwa that lets you regress and go back in time, and this is a pretty common item and a lot of people use it, except the main character. He just doesn't want to abandon this timeline and go back in time. The art story is pretty good, but I didn't find it really entertaining, so C tier again. So the last reason why I enjoy reading these sort of manhwas is, ironically enough, to find these quote-unquote cliche tropes. What I said might have sounded really stupid to some of you, but I'm being serious. One of the interesting things about this genre is to see how the different authors implement these well-known tropes in their story and how they use it, and to see who is doing something different or something unique and interesting. Well, now it's true that most of these manhwas are basically the same, with some minor tweaks here and there, but genuinely I can't stop reading them. I think my mind has been infected. I became gigak. But I'm not saying that other genres don't have tropes. Having a predictable trope is something you can find in almost every genre, whether it's romance or yaoi or anything else. But I think it's really important to do something different. Don't just copy another one's story. Most of these manhwas just throw a tower in their stories to use as a plot device, just like how isekai anime have all these tropes and plot devices. And using plot devices are not inherently bad, but you gotta at least show some creativity in your story. Anyways, if I had to recommend only 2 manhwas from this list, I'd recommend Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint because of its sheer creativity, and also SSS Class Revival Hunter because of its beautiful writing in the past 2 arcs. And it might be shocking to hear that I haven't read every single manhwa in the world, so if you know any good power fantasy manhwas with a good story, please let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to read it. Also, I want to rank these 3 manhwas real quick because I had talked about them before. In God of High School, S tier. Yes, I count it as a power fantasy, and I fucking love it. The ending was pretty good, and it was a great journey. Doombreaker, it's decent, B tier. Haven't finished it yet, so I might rank it higher later. Plus 99 reinforced wooden stick. I actually had so much fun reading this. this because its story is so fucking stupid and it doesn't take itself seriously. The perfect manhwa to shut down your brain while reading it. But it's a little bit harder to recommend. I have to painfully put it on C because I don't want to rank this higher than Solo Leveling. Otherwise it would have been A tier. I have to put something on D tier. SSS class, Gacha Hunter. Because I hate gacha.